Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 3Ps in Games. It's good to be back, and I hope to make more and more frequent uploads as time goes by. So, some interesting things have been happening, and I decided to, just do a discussion of some of the news I found interesting in the last couple of days. So, first of all, Switch 2 is coming out next week. Doesn't really feel like there's a system launch going on, at least from where I am. I've not really seen many Switch 2 ads around, but of course, I'm in the know, so maybe I'm not the audience that they are targeting in terms of those ads. So they're probably targeting mass audience that probably doesn't watch the gaming channels, know about the Switch 2 like I. So just to ensure that they are targeting the right people. So probably why I'm not seeing those ads, but I've not really seen any ads. No reviews, no system reviews, no game reviews. Yeah, it's okay, but I just feel it's. I remember 2017, the Switch launch 2017. I remember at this time we've had hardware reveal. People are started getting the games, and 1 week to launch. By then, we already had review scores for Breath of the Wild, and I remember that the reviews being so fantastic, such ridiculous high scores, 98 on Metacritic at that point. Initially, before it drops into 97, and I remember, the hype was real, and I remember seeing how launch Breath of the Wild has sold more units than this Nintendo Switch itself, which was utterly ridiculous at that moment for a game to sell more than a console. But yeah, the hype for the game was just real, and I just knew at that moment that we're gonna have a huge hit on our hands, because I always say games, good games drive console sales, drive business, and I'm just not feeling that right now with the Switch 2. Maybe Mario Kart World reviews will start going out very soon, but so far it seems no media has the Switch hardware, and I'm really confused by that. Maybe by now they'll start getting hardware and see, but if you're gonna get hardware at launch, it just feels weird to me, and it just feels weird that no reviews will come out till after launch. But it's what it is. Nintendo is in a position where they can do that. They have the power, they have the audience, they have high momentum, they have high sales. So I think they didn't really see the loss not having those reviews out. I personally don't think it's the right way about going about it, because at the end of the day they will still sell to the audience. People are like controlled by and there are ad campaigns and whatnot in the mass media. But I still think some people are not fully the casual people. They are into gaming but not so deep, and they may want to they're second guessing their choices. Where does the Switch coming at launch? Should I go and get one? Should I join the midnight launch? I guess Nintendo said they don't really need to sell to just probably get for the mass market. Those guys can see the reviews. Those in the fence can see the reviews later when the system's already out, and they don't know if they're gonna buy it or not. So I think it doesn't really affect them in the long run. So yeah, it just feels weird to me. I think I've contradicted myself there. It just feels weird to me looking at other system launches I've actively followed. This one just seems very strange compared to the others. So yeah. Hoping maybe we get some reviews or some things out this week before the system launches, or at least on the day the system launches. Let's just see. Worst case on the day, but I hope we can get some game reviews before the system launches. That's just my thinking. But yeah, I think the big news for me today is talking about Bungie. We're gonna be looking at what happened with Bungie, and one of the saddest things happened recently. Bungie being accused of stealing art from an artist. So Bungie and their game Marathon, for those who are not aware, Bungie Studios This is an article written by Paul Tassi, senior contributor to Forbes. So I saw the tweets by the artist initially, and alright, so initially when I saw this tweet, I asked myself, okay, what is this creator accusing Bungie of exactly? I looked through the images and I'm like, okay, this looks suspicious. Is he saying that they essentially copied the assets, or what is he saying exactly? But looking here, it seems this is the artist's work, and this is Bungie's assets in game, and it just seems like they lifted assets directly from the artist's work into the game, like from here, the 28, they took the 28 as well. These logos here, they took that as well, and like this is the artist tag. Like this is his this is the artist tag, like his signing tag. Like they copy that as well. So you should know that that's just ridiculous. Like I would expect that for a company at that level, they will go deep enough to ensure something like this does not happen. Like look at all this. Look at all this. At best, just hire the guy. Like they copy the logo from his art. Like, come on, guys. Like, you can do better than this. Like it's he goes on for that telling other things. You're not allowed to hire him, but if they're going to use this design language, it's good enough to maybe credit him, but not just copy the work. Like come on now. I can understand if you take inspiration and make something that style or whatever. It's fine. Artists do it all the time, and I said you can't really hold anybody from seeing something inspired and using it. Yes, you can speak on the creative side of things and whatnot, which you copy or whatever, but artists take inspiration from each other all the time, so you can't really fault come up with this. But yeah, it just seems like it's not going well. So this article came out by Paul Tassi, and one of the things he was mentioning about was the fact that he believes this is the last straw, and that he's come out to say in recent times that marketing for Marathon has been shelved, that it doesn't seem to be any marketing plans and whatnot. And I just want to say before I go, it's obvious what has to be done here. I don't like what's gonna have to happen, but there's only one way around it. I think Bungie fires somebody and then hires the guy, the artist, hire him, pay him, compensate him for lost wages. As far as I'm concerned, compensate him for as much as you can. Not everything, of course, but if that whoever was there was earning whatever amount for several years, I think they should, even if it's just 2 years of wages or whatnot, I think they should find a way to compensate him. They're not obligated to, but I'm just thinking whatever they can do. He said he's not really into pursuing legal action, but if it were to get to a legal issue, I think we'll probably have to pay far more. So I just think whatever they can do to reach an agreement with the artist, just say, okay, maybe we'll pay you what we would have paid you if we hired you to work on this game for X amount of years or whatnot, whatever. I think that would be fair. To compensate and just move on and claim the art and move. That's just be fair. Everyone is happy. I think that's just what has to happen in that regard. Sony would be I can imagine how heavily disappointed Sony would be, especially after their acquisition, and the whole Sony going to be hands-off approach and let them do what they need to do. Of course, we know previous years, that hands-off approach has been slowly crumbling. Sony has been when I say meddling a little bit in their affairs, it's not really meddling, it's their company. So, but they've been putting more hands in their affairs. And I think they're probably gonna put more hands in their affairs right now after this kind of incidents, because like it's just ridiculous when big companies such as yourself are like copying logos, copying tags. Like, come on. Like, yeah, so read the full article by Paul Tassi or Forbes. He does good work. You can follow him on Twitter as well. But I was thinking myself, for something like Bungie and where they are, what should be Bungie's next step? What should be Bungie's next line of action? And I'm just gonna use this series I've been working on, which my next video should come out very soon on this. So I'm looking at Marathon. I'm going to analyze Marathon based on the key principles of what I've seen: gameplay, presentation, player feedback, and marketing, brand and developer goodwill, community, and reviews. So let's look at it. So for gameplay perspective, based on the previews from media and journalists, I don't think the game does anything to stand out from the crowd. I don't think the game does anything to stand out from the crowd. Gameplay wise, feels good. I like the whole extraction shooter idea. I like the whole lore of the game, the art and everything, which we all know was stolen now. So I liked everything at that time when I was reading the previews and watching the previews. It all seemed interesting, but the main thing I could see and the main thing that spoke out to me was, there's nothing different from other extraction shooters. Rainbow Six had an extraction shooter that didn't do so well recently. Like, what's the catch? What's the gameplay hit? The key thing people say, okay, Bungie has good AI. Okay, yeah, great AI in terms of other shooters. Is that enough to get unique gameplay wise to make people say, yeah, I'm gonna leave COD, I'm gonna leave Apex, I'm gonna leave Fortnite, I'm gonna leave Marvel Rivals and come to I'm gonna leave Destiny, for instance, and come to Marathon. I didn't see anything to make me believe that. Yeah, the co-op, the weapons and abilities, like the hero shooter stuff that, like I said, I don't see how those ones make people leave those games and make it better. And it's based on the feedback. Not as if the gunplay was super spectacular. Like I've said it before, if your basic gameplay is not far better than what's on the market, you have to have something unique to bring people to those games. Like, if you're gonna just give people super or equal gameplay to what they're already playing, then why should they play your game? Understand? Unless maybe your story or everything else is so great that will make people jump over, like maybe something like Cyberpunk, first person shooter or whatever. But the story, the exploration, and those are the driver of the world. The gameplay is just an addition. If the main thing of the game is gameplay, like Call of Duty, you have to have something unique to make people jump. If there's no story, no release story or whatever, that will make them come to your game. So, like, if you're gonna rely on story is hard. The story has to be very good, and stories are such subjective a lot. So like it's not as if gameplay is objective as well, but good gameplay can easily be recognized by most people. So at least most gamers have played those games. I just feel there was lacking on that in the gameplay foundation. Presentation, understand. The art style was hit or miss for many people. And now the art style is surely a huge miss for many people. Initially, it was hit or miss, but now it's going to be a huge miss for many people. Now that they know that they stole work from someone. Like, unfortunately, it's just what it is. Players, the point of going with a drastic art style like that was to be different, be unique, attract players. They are not going to do that now because players are going to at least the ones online, are going to be annoyed. The community they want to build is going to be annoyed that they stole the art. So now, like, two things now are going wrong. And in my opinion, if you really want to be really successful in this current industry standard, if your gameplay is not fantastic or something very unique. So to give examples, something unique, Clear Expedition 3 recently, what's unique about this gameplay? Essentially, it's like Persona, but now they've added counter dodge, like some real-time action elements in their gameplay alongside the turn-based mechanic. That is something highly unique. The gameplay largely is the same with the other games in the market, but those key things, like it sounds simple, but that key thing has made it unique enough in this time period to make that game stand out from other games, RPGs in the market. Oblivion came out, other games have come out, but that point makes it stand out. It's not Final Fantasy VII or remake type of action combat with turn-based elements. This is a turn-based game with some real-time action elements. And it's a fantastic way of making your game stand unique and feel unique. I think that's just a good example. So if you're not having something that's unique, but your gameplay is largely similar to what's on the market, then I don't see why people should go to your game. Next thing I said, presentation, what it is. Player feedback. Yes, as I said, player feedback is a more of the in-game development thing. I think you should really how do I put it? When you're designing and developing your game, I think it's always good to have player feedback as much as you can during the development process. They should not help define your game, but help refine it. I think if you're a director, product owner, whatever, you should have a vision, and you have a vision you want to set, and of course you should have tested out your vision to see if that resonates. But sometimes you may not. Sometimes you need to understand. You need to understand that maybe certain things are not. You need to work on certain things for the player to see the value. So you need to iterate and change and adjust. You understand? Of course, prototype your gameplay, and your gameplay prototype, is loved. That's the end. You've gotten somewhere, and you use player feedback to refine your game, not define it. You have to direct your game and have a direction of where you want your product to be. So help refine. And after when you brought your product out, gotten reviews, gotten player feedback, use it to further refine and adjust certain things that maybe you affect majority of players and whatnot. And those optimizations will always happen. But for Marathon, I think the player feedback was largely mediocre, or largely just it's good, it's okay, not too much excitement. Not negative like Suicide Squad negative, but just it's okay. But are they really going to charge $70 for it? How much is it going to cost? That kind of talk was what I'm hearing from what I heard from many of the previews I watched and read. So yeah, the player feedback is not strong there, and some things need improvement. That's based on the previews. For marketing, I thought the initial marketing one for Marathon was okay. I like the trailers they put out, some really good, lore trailers and nice trailers. But of course, the point is because because so much of the work, I put it like. I know the whole art style was not stolen from the artist, but because the artist has a history of developing things in that style and your design sense and whatnot, it just clouds and kind of annihilates the marketing at this point. So I can understand why Sony would say maybe they don't spend any money on marketing now, because marketing is when I put marketing here, marketing is a huge thing in this 7 skills. They brought the pricing, the publishing, the advertisements, the ads, and all those things. So many things are involved with marketing and getting the game out there, getting the games in the hand of people. Marketing is just about ensuring people can capture the value you have, and I think right now the marketing has been slightly okay, nothing too bad, but I can understand why someone will say, let's just put a pause on whatever plans we have now, because our market is going to be clouded due to the fact that we stole art from somebody. Now, brand and developer goodwill. Now, this is another issue that I think Bungie has had over the years. They've been losing goodwill over the years from Destiny. Like, I put it, Bungie goodwill grows and falls depending on how good the Destiny expansion is, essentially. So it grows sometimes, people love them, it comes down to hate them. So Bungie is not what they used to be, and some weird take by some Sony fans think, because Naughty Dog cancelled the multiplayer version of The Last of Us Part 2. I'm not surprised. I'm blanking on factions. Yes, they cancelled Last of Us factions. The multiplayer, what should have been the multiplayer section of Last of Us Part 2. Many Sony fans, blame Bungie for that cancellation and blame Bungie for the failures in Sony's live service strategy and whatnot. But that's just baseless as far as I'm concerned. But their reputation has not been what it used to be. That's some of the things you risk when you work on a single game for so long. The pedigree and credibility you build up kind of fizzles out if you're not careful. So then of course community. Bungie, Destiny have a great community. There's a lot of people that still love them and still remember them from the Halo days and would gladly support them in Marathon and gladly want to continue to try Bungie games, because of course they do great AI, so they want to continue with them. And they had that community. Once again, and I said again, the whole art thing, I'm saying this because in the grand scheme of things, this art thing only, how many people will they see, would have seen these tweets, interacted with these tweets, or would have, really be affected in the grand scheme of things? But the question is, who are the mass audience they're going to reach that will buy Marathon if it's not free to play? It's like who are the people? Where is the target audience coming from? The mass market, maybe, but you need your day ones. You can't rely on mass market for a game like this. Who are the people that are going to be logging on from in the community? Who are the guys going to be joining the Discord? Like you need these guys. Who are the guys going to be defending them on Reddit? You need these guys, and if these guys come out to say, no, this doesn't make any sense, we can't support you, you may pop somebody, like you're losing community, you're losing those guys. And then the final one, reviews. Previews are not been out, nothing too major, but I don't see this game reviewing well. I think this game will come out with, if it comes out, I think this art thing, if they don't do anything to address it cleanly, this art thing will sentimentally cause scores to drop. I don't think the gameplay is good enough to get a high score. Maybe they have something up their sleeve they haven't shown yet. I don't know if the gameplay is good enough to get a high score. Probably going to be in the 70s or early 80s. I don't think it's going to do well. Steam reviews will probably be average. And when people say, Metacritic is not as important as what it used to be, in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to PC, for instance, Steam reviews is where it's at. Understand? But I still think for console and PC in general, everything, Metacritic has a more of a launch window importance, that launch period before launch and launch sales window importance, high score, lots of good reviews, people shared a lot, and then it has that boost in launch sales because people maybe were on the fence, they like what they saw but they were not sure about it. Metacritic I believe has that that conversion, the final conversion push at the end for many people. So you want to make sure you're getting a high score. Any scores above 88, from 87, 88 usually is enough to push major audiences to pull the plug and make that final purchase. I know I've been one of them in the past, so I can really imagine 90s and above is like you're gonna be getting sales you didn't think you're gonna get, most likely, especially for a smaller game. So if you didn't really think about it, if you get a small game, get a 90 plus on Metacritic, just know you're gonna get a hit. It's just how it is. So that's just what I believe. The launch sales are gonna be mega. You have a huge, review like that on Metacritic. That's my opinion. And when people get to play the game and then they see, okay, yeah, the reviews actually match what I play, then you're gonna get more sales from word of mouth and Steam reviews and all those things. That's just what I think. In that space. Well, yeah, I think for Metacritic it's just a launch that matters, and for Marathon I don't think you're gonna get a good review score. So everything I've said regarding Marathon and going through this list of what I call 7 skills that determine a game's success, I think I've been pretty negative on it so far. So going through everything I've said regarding 7 skills and what I believe will determine a game's success, I think going through everything with Marathon, I've been very negative so far, and I surely think the game needs to be shelved. I know it's hard to say. People will lose their jobs, and they are only. I said, it's either the game is shelved and packed to the side, but I don't think it's gonna launch well. I don't think it's gonna do well, or Bungie hires the guy, pays him some money, understand, works on the gameplay to get something unique. Like maybe they have something unique. If they want to maybe delay the game, add something unique to the gameplay to make it stand out and make it very distinct. Just like how something as simple as pinging made Apex Legends elevated. Look for something to make this game so spectacular that people will want to come here. Understand? For the presentation, hire the guy, pay him well, let him say, I'm working with Bungie now, please support the game. Understand? Get more player feedback, more people speaking about the new builds and new things, let them see the uniqueness. After you resolve the art issue, you'll probably have gotten back to a lot of your community guys. You probably build a lot of brand and goodwill, drive all that in your marketing, and drive your marketing, ramp up your marketing up, push the art style, push the new gameplay that you've gotten, use your player feedback as well, and then finally get the game out in the hands of reviewers on time. And if your gameplay and present everything is well, you should get good scores and your game should be on the path to success. Once again, I said again, the gameplay is the main thing, because the truth about the matter is, I know gamers, if the game is good enough, gamers can block out controversy, and that is the truth. If your game is good, regardless of what they say, regardless of what the anti-woke guys say, regardless of what the woke guys say, whatever, your game is gonna sell well. Understand? No matter what happens, if your game is good, if people love what you've done with the game, they will play. That's just it. They will play. It's a really full article. So, another article that came out recently was one about Black Panther being the EA closes Black Panther studio. Cliffhanger Games. Yeah. That is very sad to hear. Yes, I don't know what to say. As someone that just moved to Canada, and is looking to break into the industry here. It just seems like the industry is in heavy turmoil, and doesn't seem like you'll be able to get a job or break in, whatnot. But my mindset is just keep pushing, keep going through, and I think the industry will recover. I actually say it again. Games like Expedition, Club Obscure, Expedition 33 just makes me know and believe that smaller teams will come out and will make great games. I think we're seeing the power of Unreal Engine 5 and MetaHuman technology and whatnot. Now you can easily make great 3D games with easy development, and you don't have to do all the lighting, everything. Like you can easily just move your assets in from your 3D scans and whatnot through all the Unreal Engine 5 suites and whatnot, everything that comes with Epic, the music, everything that Epic bundles with Unreal Engine 5. You can just use that and MetaHuman to make great looking games with a small team, and you don't have to spend heavy budget. I think the more Unreal Engine continues to be used as time goes on, the more we'll see smaller teams bring out great games. I've been playing, for example, Space Marine 2, Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, and really great game. You can really see that most call it AAA. It's not really a AAA game; it's a AA game. Static levels, repeating assets. You can clearly see that it was a game designed to be easily streamlined. There are only like two very limited enemy variety. Enemy types are just two. You play the Tyrannies for a long while, then you start playing the other Space Marine guys or whatever. Like, they're barely important as far as I'm concerned. So it's just to fight big crowd of people, and that's just the point of the game for me anyway. So yeah, I think we're going to see more and more games come out from smaller teams. I think the technology has reached that point where good graphics can be easily gotten. It's just for people to now dial down and make great gameplay. I think now, as the time the system next set of consoles or whatever PCs come out, I think we're going to see a lot of great games visually, and I think right now the excuse is going to be on your gameplay is not good enough, not more about graphics or whatnot. I think everybody now is going to be making great graphics as much as they can, and I think more people will start appreciating good gameplay. I just believe that even with sad news like this, the industry will recover, the industry will pick up in the long run.